Yeah, so today we're here with Brice from Satisfy Running.
Just kind of getting an understanding of your passion for running and how you got started.
Yeah, so I grew up in the mountains in Grenoble. I grew up snowboarding, skateboarding, playing music in punk bands, and actually I've never been interested in running until my late 30s. Like
Oh,
running for me was something very obscure. When I grew up, I always hated sports. Like I was doing like handball and baseball. I mean, it was fun, but like team sports were definitely not for me. And that's why I got into skateboarding. There's no score in skateboarding, and I guess uh, I guess I found this connection with running because to me it's just like skateboarding. My approach of running when I started to run was not about performance. It was really about uh, being with myself, like like doing this like trips, kind of, like meditative trips. That was my approach of running. I've never been interested in like competitions or races and stuff like this. And I started to run because my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was running, I was not, and I just got into running thanks to her. And it was not so difficult for me to run because I've always been pretty like healthy, and like technically it was easy. The hardest part was just to find my community, to find like the culture around running, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't understand the culture because the brands or the running clubs and like the people around running um, were not really into what I call what I relate to culture. It was mostly like having a good time. It was more like community, like having a good time
hmm
together, and like and the brands were like promoting like technicality and performance, and I felt like so far from this. Like I couldn't really make the connection between my practice of running and my experience and the offer. So I guess this is how I've started to think about like Satisfy, like during one of my early run in Paris, maybe it was in 2014 or something, 13 or 14. So this is how I got into running. It's kind of like an accident, I would say. But mostly, I think I just wanted to step out of my comfort zone, and and uh, and yeah, and I don't know if like running found me or I found running, but it's uh, it's been quite of a journey. Like I was never like expected this. Like I would become like a runner, But first first you're a jogger, and now you're a runner. And I will never like I will never think that I will become that guy.
yeah.
It's so interesting because I think Robbie, it's interesting because we definitely have a love for the culture part of running, and both of us were also skateboarders, and we came into running later. Like I think there's a big difference between people who grew up in the system of track
Uh-huh.
and competition and cross country. There's a different vibe that comes from them than from these people. I feel like, at least for ourselves, we kind of found running as like a new religion and later in life, and it just kind of fit, and we try to bring in the things that were like skateboarding and like the record store, or that coffee shop vibe into running. So it's interesting to hear. I don't think we've talked to someone who's lined up as like much. Like I was a skateboarder, snowboarder,
Yeah.
and started running later, and also found that I'm not a run happy guy. I'm not a like
Sorry,
bright
sorry,
neon.
folks.
Yeah. That the clothing, the
Yeah.
apparel doesn't speak to me the way that my old pal Peralta shirts and stuff like that.
No, yes, same. I mean, like it's such a unique moment when you run. It's basically the only moment during the day that you're with yourself and you're alone. And to me, there was no point sharing this moment with 20 other people I don't know. So it has never been a question joining like a running club or, like running with like, like 20 people. I do it sometimes, when we organize some runs with some friends
Hmm.
for Satisfy. But like, and I like to run sometimes with like one or two friends, but like most of my runs are like very like yeah, I'm alone on my
Solo.
runs, and it's so important to me. These moments are super important.
That's so interesting because we actually we run with the group and we run solo, depending. But I find there's um, there's a different kind of spirituality in both. So when I'm running solo, yeah, it's meditative. It's time to think and like feel the run. And then when I'm running with a group, it's almost like I can feed off of the energy of the other people around me and maybe push performance a little bit if I
Hmm.
want to. Um, so
Yeah.
you're saying for you though, this is a time that you cherish for solo activity.
Yes, and like when I started Satisfy, I mean, basically all the design were like coming from my solo runs. Like during my runs, I was just thinking about the brand, about like the products, about the concept, about like the like about everything. So I built the brand while running solo.
Hmm.
Yeah. Is the brand about
And
4 or 5 years old?
so we started in 2015, but the first products were on the market in 2016.
Okay.
Okay.
I remember
So
starting
it's
to
been
see
six.
stuff.
Yeah, it's been
Hmm.
6 years.
So how did that idea for Satisfy come to fruition? Not just how you start to think about it, but also what in your past kind of influenced
Yeah.
your idea to start a fashion brand.
And clearly you have an understanding of fabrics
Hmm.
and materials that I would say go beyond a regular like startup. Like
Like just
when
someone who wants to start
yeah,
a
throw some
yeah.
logos on some t-shirt blanks or something like that. There's a lot of design and materials behind your product that seems like it's coming from a different angle.
Yeah. So first of all, have this expertise and experience within the fashion industry because for almost 20 years, I had a jeans company, and
Oh, okay.
jeans is a very difficult product. But like this is well, I mean I've learned everything with denim, and this is how I guess like even if the product is very different, the fabrics are super different. But when you work when you work in this industry, you have to know about fabrics, you have to know about technologies, and so I always been like I always went to like fabric fair, always met with mills and suppliers. So I knew what was around. I was not using those fabrics, but I always knew about technical fabrics. Before that, I had a few experiences um, in the like in the not the fashion industry, but like in the apparel, let's say apparel industry, because like I mean, I had my first brand when I was 16. And
Oh
it's
wow.
funny because like right before our call, I was in my bedroom. I am at my parents right now. And I was in my teenager bedroom, and I found those two t-shirts from my first brand when I was 16.
Whoa, that's cool.
And it was like a snowboard slash skateboard brand, was called Biscuit.
Okay.
And so I saw those two T-shirts, and then I had another brand. I found also like some shorts and T-shirts, and the name of the brand was Pro Capitalist, and it was like a punk skateboard brand.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I always been like like doing stuff. I always been like playing music, having bands, doing the merch for the band. So of course as you have the expertise like of my like 20 years like experience with the 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 denim brand, but also I grew up like again I grew up like in the punk rock and in the skateboard. So it was all about like do it yourself, you know.
Sure.
We had our own record label, you know, we had our like shitty van, we were touring, we were organizing the concerts, you know, and we were like, you know, 16, 17. And so it helps you also to understand. I mean, on top of that, you have the skateboard, you know. So, like coming from where I come from, like it helped me to understand how, you know, like how it works, like how to do things, you know. So you make things, you want people to see your things, you know, and the things have to be like always super like relevant, and you need like a strong message. And also you need the dream, you need to have to believe in what you do, you know. And this is what I've always been doing, you know, like you know, when you play like in a punk band, or if you have like you know, you're into the skateboarder thing, it's all about like authenticity, you know. So first of all, everything I've been doing has been led by authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
always. And then you have like the, you know, the knowledge and the expertise, and you you grow this through the years. And of course, like, you know, after like, you know, 20 years doing jeans, I was kind of ready to start Satisfy. And again, I've never knew I would do this, you know, because it's, you know, to me, running again was
Right.
something very obscure. But I started to do Satisfy because when I was running, first of all, like, you know, when I started to run, I was just wearing like a Slayer distressed T-shirt, you know, with holes, and like some like you know, whatever shorts and some Nikes, and yeah, it was fine, you know. It was fine. You know, it was perfect. You know, like the distressed T-shirt has holes, so I had like some kind of like a venting tech
Yeah.
around my my chest, and this is where the idea come from when we did this like moth-eaten, now called moth tech T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always loved running in cotton. So like, just I'm saying this just to say that, you know, my personal experience with running really shaped the design of Satisfy, but also the ethos of Satisfy.
Mm-hmm.
And my approach of performance when I started to run, like luckily I've been able to experience you know, what you call like the runner's high or the flow, or, you know, uh, like this moment uh, when you feel that your brain is kind of floating, you know. And and I guess this is why I wanted to, you know, to run the day after, just to experience this again. And my idea, making Satisfy, was to create clothes that will help you to reach the high. It means basically that you don't want to feel anything on your skin when you run. You don't want to be distracted by what you wear, but you are, but what, sorry, what, with what you are wearing when you run. Um, so so that was the first like idea. And of course, then, you know, when you start to run, you carry your keys, your phone, and then, you know, like, you know, your keys start
Utility.
to jingle together, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the phone is bouncing everywhere, you know. So like all this like all this experience had to be transformed into like technology. And I basically like started to think about like pocketing systems, and like, you know, how the keys uh, won't jingle together, and like how, where to put my phone if I don't want it to bounce, like how to impeach the sweat from my butt to uh, to touch the screen of my phone, you know, stuff like this. So like two levels, you know, like you have like the first level, which is okay, how to reach the high. So super light products with no distraction, like, you know, flat seams, fabrics that feel like silk on your skin. And then you have all the systems within your products that will enhance this comfort when you run. So these were just ideas. And after like a few months, I was finally ready to start the brand and to do some, you know, I started with mock-ups, with prototypes. And it was very, very do-it-yourself in the beginning, you know, and it's still do-it-yourself, but like
Mm-hmm.
in the very, very beginning, it was basically just me, you know.
A lot of trial and error when it comes to like creating those utility parts to a garment. Like, were you testing it on yourself? Like, how were you determining?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just on my. I mean, in the beginning, it was just me trying the stuff, and then some friends, and later on, of course, we are a bit more like organized. But yeah, I mean, the brand was really about my personal experience with running. Yeah,
So,
I was testing, and I'm still testing everything. Yeah.
so what was the when you came uh, when the idea for Satisfy came to you? What were the holes or in the market that you saw that you thought needed to be filled or fixed? I guess.
Two things: the culture and the products. Uh, if you look at the culture again, like I was not moved or touched by the existing culture. Like all the products, I mean, what I like to do is to add cultural value to the products,
Hmm.
and uh, and I mean, I couldn't see it. Maybe some brands, they try to do it, but like to me, it was not very clear, or I didn't get it. I don't know. But to me, there was no clear references to any culture within the product or within like the brand's DNAs.
Yeah.
Um, and coming from skateboarding, culture is the most important thing. So so yeah. So I I uh, I don't know if I was trying to filling the gap because I don't think like this. It's really when I do something, it's really about like what I feel
Mm.
and about my experience. So it's part, of course, like filling some gaps because if I do it, it's because like I can't find it.
Right.
But it's also yeah, it's also you know like uh, uh, like challenging the status quo, like be like, okay, there's no reason why there is like, like ten brands, like 10 sports brands in the world when you have like hundreds of thousands fashion brands.
Hmm. Right.
So I found the category very limited, and everybody was doing the same thing, but overall, it's products are not sustainable. I mean, the existing products were not sustainable, and also like the products were like super cheap, cheap in terms of like quality.
Yeah.
And coming from where I come from, I like fabrics. I like I like beautiful hand feels. When it comes to fabric, I like when products are respected, and basically like the message from the all these activewear brands was not relevant to me. So that's why I've started the brand. I would have never started a brand if um, you know the last thing you want to do is to make another like Nike or Adidas.
Hmm.
Like there's no point.
Yeah.
First you can't compete with them, but also like there's nothing much to say actually.
So
So my approach was very product and culture oriented.
I'm going to guess that you don't see anybody that you feel is competitive to satisfy in the running space, just how you talk about it being unique. So if there's not a brand that you feel like is relevant to you in the running space, where in fashion or where in another culture do you find satisfy lining up with, or do you find aspirational in your work that you're like, okay, these people are doing it and I dig what's going on over there. I'd like Satisfy to be thought of in the same circle.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. I mean, there's a lot of like performance brands I like. Of course, I like Arc'teryx. I like some products from the North Face. Like products are just beautiful,
Hmm.
and fabrics are, sometimes they use like amazing fabrics, and so I really respect those brands. Um, but like it's true that I find more connections with some other brands, like fashion brands, and like I like Acne Studios, for example. I really respect this brand because they have this like discipline in terms of like product distribution. They could have been like so much bigger, but they just continue to do what they do. I really respect this. On the smaller brands like Our Legacy, Swedish brand as well, we have done a few collabs with them, like same vibe, these people are just like doing doing what they like. It's really like a bunch of passionate people making like super like well-made and nice products. So I like this. I like this type of brands when you have like a discipline and a beautiful product with a community and a dream. That's so important. Uh, I'm not sure like the all the like, performance brands. The other performance brands have like a big dream, maybe selling more, or something like this. But like,
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's a. I mean,
I
it could be a
see.
dream. Why not? I get.
I also see
Yeah.
the confluence of fashion and performance in general coming closer together. Like what we're wearing for our casual or what we wear around has more performance features in it than in previous years. But we're seeing those two things come together. Do you feel like there is like that is a trend that we're going to continue to see and expand, is that it's going to become more hard to separate like the genre of this is purely athletic or this is purely fashion? Obviously we see people wearing, you mentioned like North Face, you see people wearing technical jackets that are meant for alpinists that are going to climb Everest, but they're also wearing them in Manhattan on the street as a symbol of fashion. Is that something that you see just kind of continue to grow? Is that where Satisfy would have some interest in being that kind of crossover brand?
Yes, but it has always been the same. Like I remember when we were skateboarding, we were wearing like Dickies pants and military stuff.
True.
Military
Yeah.
products, cargo pants.
Yeah.
So it always been like this. Like I'm not like shocked or I think it's normal. Like I think what is important is um, brands are I think where brands get it wrong, it's when you have like a technical brand that try to be lifestyle, and it's not the brand who's going to decide
It's the
if
consumer.
it is
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle or not. That's the people, the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I see like a performance brand like posting on Instagram or whatever, like a lifestyle picture, I'm a bit like, okay, what are you doing? Like
Mm-hmm.
you should keep on promoting like your lifestyle, which is like let's say like mountaineering or like going out, the outdoors. um, and consumers are smart enough to know that, okay, this jacket I can also wear it, in the city,
Yeah.
so but it's something that I've been always I think it's cool that it's like this. I always like this idea of like stealing from like a utility uh, wardrobe, and to bring it to other like cultures. And we've been doing this like forever, like the motorcycle jackets, like the bomber jacket,
Yeah.
the jeans, everything we wear, like all the classic products we are wearing are not supposed to be
Right.
one the way we do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because a while back we had a guest on that has worked with many, many brands. And, he said now that some of the sports brands try to make casual shoes or something. So, and he said nobody made casual shoes. They made performance shoes that turned into fashion. So the Converse was actually a basketball shoe. That the
Yeah,
Jordans were a basketball shoe. And, these shoes
yeah.
that now are fashion, they started off
Mm-hmm.
not with the intention to be fashion. They just became fashion.
No, no, exactly. And yeah, I mean, like again, but I guess at some point, it's if you like a big company, it's very hard to stop at some point.
Yeah.
Um, so I understand why they do it. It's just what matters is like it's not like it's a bit like this forget this song. Never mind what's been selling, it's what you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk a little bit about. Obviously, we hear the passion behind your product. We hear the quality that you're using in the fabrics and the thought process that you go through. obviously Satisfy is a premium brand. The price is going to be, quite a bit more than some other brands. When you how when you go to market, are you saying, okay, hey, this product, which is normally people are used to purchase this, how do you set the price for like some of the products?
We produce in Europe with fabrics from France, from Switzerland, from Japan, from Italy. And when we buy fabrics from Europe, we produce in Europe. When we buy fabrics from Japan, we produce in Japan
Wow.
in order to be sustainable.
See, that's the one
Um,
thing that we talk to a lot of companies, and you always hear the sustainability tag because that's hot. Everybody wants to be in on it. Except some of these companies, they're shipping across the world all their
yeah,
different pieces and products to the factories, and it
yeah,
defeats the entire purpose of sustainability.
yeah, yeah. Sustainability is not only about the fabrics. That's easy to buy a recycled polyester today.
Hmm.
Every brand have access to a recycled polyester.
Yeah. Hmm.
What's more difficult? It's the whole supply. It's like where are you going to produce? How are you going to dye the fabric? Like overstock. Do you want to have overstock? Do
Yeah.
you want to put your product on sale? Do you want to play the game of the markdown? This is not sustainable. So the technology and the recycled fabric or sustainable fabric, it's maybe like it's 10% of the whole conversation. So at Satisfy, we have some recycled fabrics, but we also have a sustainable supply chain, which is very important, I think. And to circle back to your question about pricing, I think today it's just not normal actually to buy a pair of shorts for $40.
Hmm.
I think it shouldn't be like this. It's not normal. Like $40 means that the cost of the shorts is something like
$10.
like six
Yeah.
dollars. Yeah, $6. Yeah. How is it possible? The
Right.
fabric, the making, the shipping, like how? You know, but of course, like people are used to this price. So when Satisfy comes with like a $250 pair of shorts, it's like, wow, what the fuck? But uh, and I understand, but it's a bit like the jeans industry. Like pre 2000, jeans were like I don't know, like $50,
Yeah.
$60,
Commodity.
$80 maybe. Then 2000 to 2000, 15, jeans were like $300,
Hmm.
and it's all about like explaining why. And jeans went from let's say $100 to $300 because we started to use fabrics from Japan, made in Japan. The the washing was much more sustainable. You use less water. It's like whole handmade. So when you tell the
Hmm.
story, like you're not only buying like a product, you also buy like craftsmanship and know-how. So same with Satisfy. We are certainly like the most expensive running brand, but we also our product are also like I'm not going to say the best because it doesn't like every brand can say like my product are the best. It's not that, but like we basically um, allow people to have access to some technology that are normally uh, um, used for like pro athletes, like like products that you will never see like in a Nike store, but you will see other Nike's athletes, for
Yeah.
example.
Hmm.
So it's a change of scale. Like we provide our community some amazing fabrics that normally only like the pro athletes could run with. So that's one part of the answer. So like the fabrics and the
Sure.
technology, but also our process. We develop everything in house. We don't work with we don't develop products with like factories like most of the brands. We don't send like a tech sheet or a tech pack to the factory. We actually buy the fabric, we buy the trims. We have a pattern maker in house. We have like a prototype maker in house. We make everything in house. We prototype the product, and the product is conformed before we send it to the factory. So that's a completely different approach of making products, which is more sustainable, but also which is more precise. And that's why also our products are more expensive, because the development takes much more time, and it involves like many steps within the process.
Okay, so to dumb it down, like for our audience, we're talking about limited runs, so you're not doing mass runs of clothing that you're going to have overstock. So that's the first thing. And anybody knows the less you make, the more it costs to develop that. Then you're saying that you're also making it and developing it within the country that it's the origin of the fabric is from, correct?
Yes, or Europe, because for example, we work a lot with France as fabric for fabrics, but we produce in Portugal.
Okay. And so the people who are actually putting it together, the craftsmen, are being paid a higher wage than
of course. I mean, Portugal, like Portugal is like we work with one of the best factory in the world, and this factory is based in Portugal, and it's Europe, it's
right. And lastly, the materials are higher quality than you would typically get from,
like, you can't even get them.
Yes, like a concrete example, like 1 meter of fabric, like 1 meter of satisfied fabric costs 20 euros. 20 euros, and if if you put it in the if you compare with like $40 pair of shorts,
Yeah, right.
and like so a short is like like 30 centimeters of fabric, like it's like in the end, like you have like basically, I don't want to break down like the price like this of the product, but basically we 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 are actually super happy to be able to work with like those like type of fabrics. They are certainly super expensive, but they are also like made in the most sustainable way in France, and that's a choice. And I don't think the world needs another like Nike or Adidas.
Yeah.
And again, like I'm really like I really respect those brands. I really respect Nike, Adidas. It's not about that, It's just that we don't need another one. So my point is that we like being a niche brand. It's very important for us, and
I think that's really helpful though. Like knowing some of the things that go into it, and like you said, you are a niche brand, and you're also, I think for some people, there's people that are going to appreciate that and be like, okay, I want these fine things. I want something that's well thought out product. And of course there's people that, will go to McDonald's for a hamburger versus going to a restaurant. I know you're vegan, so you won't go to either, but the quality of you could take this down the line for any product or any service. You're going to get what you pay for, but being able to kind of point out those different qualities of your product, I think will help people understand, because I think if you're looking at it online and you're just seeing a picture of it, you may not understand what separates Satisfy from, say, a different brand that's using, like you said, a factory template, like whatever nylon they have there at the factory, and pumping it out with the same stuff. So I think that helps people and kind of gives them an idea of why you're going to pay a premium price for a premium product.
Mm-hmm.
No, exactly. And the physical connection with our product is very important for us. This is why we are mostly a D2C brand, so we mostly distribute through our own e-com. But we are also very happy to work with partners, to work with wholesale to make the product accessible. Like you can actually, interact and touch the fabrics and see the products.
I definitely feel trying the shorts for us. I know both Robbie and I were blown away by the shorts.
Yeah, I mean that I think this like the Justice fabric that you use for the shorts. That was feels really nice.
Like I can feel the difference in the shorts. It's hard to tell somebody that from a photograph or another way.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But
But it's all about that. It's all
yeah.
about yeah. It's but as you said, it's all about like feeling. I mean, like if you if you run a lot, it's I mean, it's when you think about it, like if you run every day, you will wear these shorts like every day.
Yeah.
It's nice to have like a nice
Something that you
products.
enjoy having against your skin.
Yes. Yeah,
And that is
exactly.
the truth. And we just received the shorts. I guess we've had them for about 2 weeks now, or so, maybe not even.
Yeah.
And
And it's
that
still
is a
this-
thing. Like when I talk about the price of a product and how it sits around, and you talk about sustainability on this end is where I see sustainability
Yeah.
for runners.
I know
Is
what you're
it
saying.
like my shorts last years? Like I'm not, it's not like I wear them for a season and they're gone. It's you. I'll pull out some of my favorite shorts that I've had for 6-7 years, or some of my favorite shorts to still running today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if you
No,
have, I mean, if that is a thing where you're wearing them hundreds of times, if you think about it per cost per use, it's really, I mean, there's
Yeah.
value there. But also, if you're buying more quality goods, then you're being more sustainable by default because it's lasting longer than your throwaway pair from the outlets at
And not to
at
go
the
on
mall.
a rant here, but the thing is, for me, I do run a lot, and it's important to me to feel comfortable and confident in the stuff that we put in. And it's like the skateboard stuff. I want to have stuff that fits the culture. So I think that you're
no,
nailing it there.
yes. Oh, thank you. No, exactly. I mean, we, it's the product is very, very important, but it's not only about the product. Like, I think if we buy brands because we we buy the idea of who we can be or what we could do wearing the brand or having a product. So it goes beyond just a product. Of course, the product has to be super good, but also if when buying a product you support like a culture, and you show also to the people around you like who you are, what you support. Um, I think it's yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that it's like it's a price to pay, but it's just price. I mean, price is like it's like I mean, it's like it's almost like a sensation, like I mean, I remember when I was younger and I didn't have money, and I was like a student, and I was not really eating at lunch to be able to buy like some jeans or like some skateboard stuff, like so you find you find a solution, and of course it's not very healthy, but like when you love like a culture so much, like you tend to do like crazy things for it.
Yeah.
And so when people say that, okay, the brand is super expensive, and and yeah, and I I'm sorry, but like you don't have to buy Satisfy. There's plenty
Yeah.
of other brands.
Exactly. Right.
And
Everything's a
and
choice.
maybe
Yeah.
Satisfy is not for you. It's not for you, and I'm sorry, and but at the same time, what we do, okay, shorts are 250 euros, but like we have less expensive products, because what's is cool is when like everybody can own a piece of Satisfy. So maybe some people couldn't get like the shorts, but you can buy like the bandana or like a t-shirt, or and be part of the culture. So it's not really about like how much you pay your shorts, or it's all
Yeah.
about like
But we do
being
recommend the
part of the
shorts.
culture and understanding the culture. And but also like you don't have to be a consumer of Satisfy to understand Satisfy, to love Satisfy.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it could
You don't
inspire
need
somebody
to.
else to create something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, exactly. So yeah.
Do you remember what your first skateboard deck was?
Yes, it was. Well, I'm not sure if it was one of those first like double tail. So it was a Vision skateboard, like like Vision, the Vision skateboard, like with two tail. right after, I got the first Santa Cruz Everslick.
All right.
Nice.
Remember, like the Everslick with like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the coating, to make like
Yeah.
slides and stuff.
My first deck was a
My
slick
favorite
too.
one was, oh, yeah, yeah. My favorite one was the Davely Burger.
Oh yeah.
It was like yeah, it was cool, but I always been like yeah, I like the David Lee Burger, but also I was a fan of like Alien Workshop. I found those like boards much more like resilient than the other boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think
so
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
yeah, I was a little pre some of
I
the
was like
workshop stuff.
that was kind of when I came in, was the Alien
Yeah.
Workshop era
I was
and
big
Zero and
Pow
Toy
Crawl
Machine
fan.
and yeah. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so I want to come back real quick to one thing that stood out to me when you're talking about the fabrics. You were talking about the cotton. You use cotton in some of your apparel, which is interesting because you really see people moving away from cotton.
I think it's coming back.
I think so too, which I like, because I actually defend the cotton t-shirt as a running shirt because it's perfectly fine for temperatures in the 50 to 75. Like there's nothing wrong with wearing a cotton shirt.
And when it gets warmer than that, you take your shirt off.
Exactly. So I feel like there's not enough of that, and I was happy to see that you have some products that are made of cotton.
Yeah, we support cotton. I love cotton. I love to run with cotton. Um, I like to see like like my sweat stains on my t-shirt, after a run. Um,
I also think
I
it's easier to print on cotton than it is on the technical fabrics. Like you can do more design,
so
the more
yes,
design
but
choices.
yes, but also like I mean, it came from my first experience with running. I started to run again with like some band tees and stuff, but like I wanted to bring back cotton within running because first I like it, but also I really think it's perfect to run like 10K, even 20K. I mean, I ran
Yeah.
30K with cotton, and I was fine, like no chafing or but like the way we brought it back was with this tech that we called moth tech. So we have like bunch of moth holes
How do you
on the
do that?
t-shirt, and
Like, what's the
it's like a
process?
handmade actually.
Oh,
Oh wow.
really?
Yeah, the process is so the first prototypes I made it by hand. So I used like some kind of like like a big like hook, kind of like a like a metal hook, and I did it by hand basically. And I did it like I mapped the holes where like body is supposed to sweat the most when you run, and I did it by hand and send it to the factory, and then now they're using like they do it with laser, but which is funny because basically like moth they never eat cotton, uh, they eat wool and silk but not cotton. uh, I knew that, but it's just it you know there was this idea of like the the distressed moth-eaten whole that I really liked.
Yeah.
So we kept the name. Um, so yeah, cotton is super fine for us actually, and I don't know why cotton has like a bad reputation
I think.
for
I
for
mean,
running. I mean,
it got. It was. It was when Under Armour came out, and they were like, "You need performance fabrics for running." They did a whole campaign against cotton, and I mean,
yeah,
cotton. There is a disadvantage if you're wearing football pads, and you have a cotton T-shirt, and your sweat is weighing down the cotton shirt. I see that there are benefits, but for the
no, yeah,
majority, for runners and stuff like
If you're
that,
running 6 miles,
yeah,
like
it's not gonna hold you up that bad. But like Robbie said,
no,
it's also
exactly.
temperature dependent, and but
but you also have merino too, which is my favorite fabric. So
Yes, yes, merino wool is amazing. As you may know, merino wool is one of the most technical fabrics, and it's
mhm.
all natural. And our merino wool is actually the lightest merino wool in the world, and it's made in Japan. So the fabric is from Japan. So we make the products, our Cloud Merino products, we are made in Japan, and they are also hand tie-dye in Japan.
Oh, cool.
And yes, I really love them. We have the short sleeves and the long sleeves. We are working on some new merino products for fall winter, for the next fall winter. And we talking about natural fabrics. We also have two other fabrics that are very interesting. One is called dermapiece. So it's a cotton mixed with seaweed, and that's
Damocles?
yeah, dermapiece.
Okay.
Damapiece.
Yeah, that's the name of. This is how we called it. And basically, this fabric is very nice on the skin. So it's most like it's mostly for like post run
Nice.
usage, but like you you the fabric is anti irritating, so it's very nice on the skin. So especially if you have run like let's say you like let's say you have run like it was hot and you have like salt on your skin, like it's kind of like itchy and it's not very nice. So this fabric tends to calm your the skin irritation. So that's a fabric we have launched it a year ago, and there is more coming for the month of May this year. And another fabric that we are launching at the same time in May is a nylon made from plants. So nylon is normally made from um, plastic,
Polyurethane? Yeah.
petrol, it's polyamide, but this nylon is made from like castor oil. So it has a part of it is very sustainable. Of course, the process is still like polymerization, so it's like chemical, but the source is vegetal.
Cool.
So that's very interesting as well. So as much as we can, we are really pushing for like natural fabrics
Yeah.
and natural technologies. Yeah.
That's really cool. So what's your favorite piece of Satisfy apparel?
So I guess I always run with the moth
Okay.
like muscle tee, the long sleeve merino,
Uh-huh.
and the 2.5 or the 3 trail shorts.
Gotcha.
I wear the tie-dye socks, and I always wear a bandana,
Nice.
and yeah, and that's it.
Cool. Yeah, and if
Not always a Polartec one though, right?
I love the Polartec. I use a Polartec when it's very
Cold.
very cold.
Yeah.
I use a Polartec. It's funny because I stopped wearing jacket when I run. I don't like jacket when I run. I'm too hot when I run with or it's too warm when I run with jacket. So now I just layer the long sleeve merino and the Polartec, and I'm good. Even when it's like -5 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
I don't know how you how it is in Fahrenheit, but it's pretty cold.
yeah. No, it gets
Same for shorts. Like when it's very cold, like I wear shorts. I don't like tights, and I like to wear shorts. You never really cold with on your legs, unless like of course if you run in the snow and but like it's pretty rare for me to run in the snow,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And if anyone's wondering if the gear holds up to the longer distances, it was cool last year. One of your athletes, Michael Veerstig, won the Cocodona race. 240?
I thought it was like 231 or something.
250,
like
yeah.
that.
It's a lot of miles
It's more than 200 miles.
across Arizona.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and our products. Yeah, he didn't win because of our products, obviously, but he's a great athlete. I'm super happy
Yeah.
he's a great athlete and a great person.
Cool.
I'm super happy to collaborate with him. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you for a product that you don't make, which is running shoes. What's your favorite daily trainer or race shoe?
At the moment, I run a lot with my Nordas. I love Norda shoes.
Oh yeah.
I use them for both trail and road. I also like Hoka.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, the Norda
Yeah.
was surprisingly. It's probably my favorite road to trail shoe. Like it's just great for any situation, really. They did a really nice
Yeah,
job.
no, it's yes. If I have to bring just one pair of running shoes, which I did actually, again, I'm at my parents right now, and I arrived earlier today, and I just brought my Nordas, and this week I will do like trail and road, and these are perfect.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. I have one last question.
Hit it.
What's your favorite like band running shirt? Do you still run in your band shirts as well?
Yeah, I still do it. I still run with my band cheese, and it's a hard questions. Last question. At some point, I was running a lot with my Dark Throne T-shirt.
Okay.
It's a black metal band from Norway. Uh, Also, I run with. I'm trying to think like which one because I crop sleeves. I don't like t-shirts. I run with long sleeves
Yeah.
or crop sleeves.
Gotcha.
I don't see the point of. I don't understand short sleeves t-shirts. Most people do, but I don't understand. I mean, it's hot, okay, with no sleeves. It's called long sleeve. I don't understand the short sleeves thing.
No in between for you.
That's a good point.
But 99% of the population must think the opposite. So I must be a weirdo. But yeah, I like my Dark Throne T-shirt and what else? Yeah, always some like Metallica T-shirts
Nice.
and like I mean mostly like heavy metal because I love heavy metal and punk and stuff like this.
Nice.
But like when I started to run, I was running with my Slayer T-shirt. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which would be Ober's favorite.
Yeah,
we
we
have
have
a friend who often runs in his Slayer t-shirt.
Yeah. That's great. Well, Brice, thank you so much for coming on. It's a really cool conversation.
And
Thank you for having me. It was really great to speak to you guys.
Yeah, and we are genuinely really enjoying the product. So we are known. You probably don't know this, but we are pretty much known for calling bullshit when there's bullshit. And this product, I really like the shorts quite a bit. I know Robbie and I have talked back and forth about it.
I just wore them last night on the trails, actually.
I wore them last night in the group run.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And my wife said to me today, because I threw some stuff in the wash, she says, is there anything that can't go in the dryer? And I said, make sure those shorts go on the hanging rack. So.
Yeah. No, thank you. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.